Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Cruel review, where we review horror movies, specifically modern day ones, and today I have a very special one for you guys. So, today we are reviewing the movie to a very amazing zombie franchise, and this one's coming out 18 years after the last installment in this three-film franchise. And this one is setting up two other movies, with The Bone Temple coming out next year. We have 28 years later. And this movie was good. I liked it. I'm a little bit more generous on this film than most people. I was excited for this one when I heard they were making it, and when the teaser actually dropped, I was super excited for this one. I had a lot of high hopes going into it because it has Alex Garland and Danny Boyle back for this installment, but there were some disappointments in the film. Now, first off, I am making it clear, spoilers ahead, so if you don't want to be spoiled, click off. But yeah, now we're getting into the review for 28 years later. Okay, so to start it off, we are going to go with the cons of the film. And let me tell you, there were a lot of cons. And one of them was Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. I thought he had some good potential, but he was in there for the first half, and then he disappeared for the second half. And I understand why he disappeared for the second half. It makes sense. But I just wish we got more of him, because he seemed like a really cool character. Yeah, he was kind of a jerk to his son, Spike. I still thought he was a pretty interesting character, and we could have gotten a lot more with him, but he was pretty much wasted. And, there wasn't a lot for him to do in the story. Like, he was there helping Spike, going to the island to get his first kill, kind of show him around, get into chases with the infected, kind of show him what's happening on that side. But it seems like he didn't really care a lot for his son, and he was pretty scared. He was missing his shots. He got a kill, but he was very scared. And in the second half, he actually did know what he was doing when he was taking his mom out to go find a doctor to find out what was wrong with her. And then obviously there was Eric there, and then he gets killed off. And then they go find the doctor. They find out what's wrong with her. Turns out she is cancered. She dies later because she sacrifices herself. And then Spike ends up going on to his little adventure. And then he stays on the island instead of going back home. But he brings the baby back home, though, because an infected actually gave birth, but this baby didn't end up getting infected. But I still find that kind of weird, in my opinion, that he decided to stay on the mainland. But to be fair, he does know what he's doing. He seems pretty experienced now after that first run he did. But the ending really threw me off, and it didn't really make much sense to the story. But it does make sense in the beginning of the film and the ending of the film. They kind of tie them together. So this kid his family ends up getting murdered by the infected, and his father gives him this necklace of the cross. And at the end of the film, you see a guy named Jimmy wearing a cross upside down, and it looks exactly like the one from the beginning of the film. So I think they're just kind of setting his character up a little bit more, because he's going to be in Bone Temple. But still, they didn't make anything clear in the ending. They went all over the place in the final final like 15 minutes of the film. Like, first we're here running from zombies, we find the doctor, we're making skulls and putting them up, then we sacrifice his mother, and then he goes on to a little trip, and then he gets into this group of gang members or whatever that just beat up infected for fun. And that's the end of the film. I was very disappointed with the ending of the film. I don't know what they're trying to set up for Bone Temple. Like, what is Bone Temple even going to be about? We have nothing regarding it from the ending. Like, there's nothing from the ending that shows what's gonna happen. But either way, I've thought the first half, more like the first hour, 25 minutes, were pretty good. They were good. There was, the infected are crazy in this film. They're all adapting. There's like this leader one where he's fast. He's a little bit fat, but he's also super smart. And then there's pregnant ones. There's, fat ones. And then there's super fast ones. Then there's obviously that guy. But they were going all out, man. It's ridiculous what these infected tried doing in this film. They were going all out. They're chasing people throughout the woods. And honestly, I'm scared for those people, bro. These infected people were nuts in this film. And I wonder what they're gonna do in Bone Temple coming out next year. I'm pretty sure they filmed all of them back to back. I'm not quite sure. Remind me in the comments. But other than that, like, yeah, they're pretty freaky. They're scary. But character-wise, I already talked about Aaron Taylor Johnson's character. Spike was the highlight. He was great. Eric was annoying. The doctor seemed like a cool guy. He was just kind of wasted a little bit. I wish we got to see more of him, but he did good with the screen time he had. And it was kind of emotional seeing his mom get killed off and finding out she has cancer that like traveled to her brain or her body. It was kind of sad, I will be honest about that. But with Jodie Comer's character, she was kind of annoying in the first half. Like, yeah, I get it, she's diagnosed with something, but they made her seem a little bit too annoying instead of building up her character a little bit more. But in the second half, they really did try building up her character for nothing, because then she died. So it's like, what's the point of making this character if you're gonna kill her off? And she's supposed to be like this big inspiration and stuff onto Spike and stuff, and like be the reason that he does everything for her or whatever. They didn't really do a good job with her character, if I'm being honest. But, yeah, sound design was okay. I like some of the music choices in here. The camera angles, though, choreography, this is the best one of this year. I'm saying it right now. This movie was great with choreography. Great with, like, camera angles and stuff. The cameras were amazing. It looks fantastic. Going all Matrix out with some of these 180 camera angles. It looks phenomenal, I mean. Like, absolutely phenomenal. And that's, like, one of the biggest pros about this film, the choreography. And also, I love the vibe here. Like, these people know what they're doing. They're going to a land. All of these, like, structures are growing out with, like, grass and stuff. It adds more character to some of the builds. Like, I love type of, like, builds and stuff that are, like, kind of getting taken over by grass, like they've been abandoned for such a long time that grass is growing everywhere. I love that. It adds so much beauty to it, and the bus scene really did that for me, because there was a lot of grass all over the bus and stuff, and it really added a lot of character, in my opinion, to the film, showing how much the world has evolved over the years. And they really showed that with this film, with everything being abandoned, looking all rusted down and stuff. Like, all the most glass in the film were like all like covered up, dusty musty bunny done. Dusty bun. But yeah, there's really not much to say about that. Overall, I think this was like a 7 out of 10 film. I thought it was good, had some decent characters throughout. The infected were amazing in this film. Choreography was great. The only drawbacks is that the pacing wasn't as good as I was expecting. I feel like they didn't really try much with this film. It felt a bit rushed. The characters weren't as developed as I was expecting. Unlike Spike. Spike was great. But the ending was confusing. Story was off the rails. But overall, just like the other little stuff with Spike and the choreography, some of the music choices, that really all makes up for the film. And there were definitely some intense scenes in the film regarding the infected. Like the bus scene was pretty crazy. The scene where Spike and the Doctor and the baby are hiding, that was intense. The scene where the father, Aaron Taylor Johnson, and Spike are running away from the infected, that was intense. Seeing them all up on the hill was pretty intense. Seeing like a zombie behind Jodie Comer was also kind of crazy, and then he like shoots her, and then she gets blood all over herself, so then Spike has to clean her up and stuff. There were definitely a lot of great scenes in there, some decent characters, but other than that, I think it's like a 7 out of 10 film. I'd say I'd generously recommend the film. If you're like a super big fan of the 28 Days Later franchise, you might not be too fond about this one. Like, you'll think it's okay. Like, you'll still think it's good. It's just not terrible. But, yeah, I thought it was good. I'd recommend it and not recommend it at the same time. Really for the 28 Days Later fans, but also for the like people that don't know what 28 Days Later is. They're going into years later not knowing anything, and they don't really explain much, like how did the infected spread out. They're just going in there like, oh yeah, maybe we'll get to know how the infection spreaded. Oh wait, no, we probably have to go watch the original film after watching years later. Really, there's nothing much I have to say. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm completely losing it. But alright, that's my review for 28 Years Later. I might do a Megan one next week. I might do a Squid Game Season 3 review, because I feel like a lot of people might want to see that type of review. But if you guys want a Squid Game Season 3 review, please let me know in the comments, and then I will actually do one after this weekend, because I am going camping in a few hours. So yeah, see ya. This was Cruel Reviews. See ya.